Hello students, welcome to Gyanvia School of Education, Suresh Gyanvia University. I'm Dr. Sonia Kaur Bansal and today's topic is focus group discussions and research and subject is methodology of educational research. So students, today we are going to study about focused group discussion, what it is, and my learning objective would be including introduction of focus group discussion, how it is working, and what are the advantages and disadvantages, what are the types of focus group discussion, how a researcher should focus on this type of technique to collect the data. So I hope all of you will learn in a very good manner attentively. So let's start the topic with its description in an elaborative manner. So I hope you will understand it. So students, let's discuss that focus group discussion is frequently used as a qualitative approach to gain an in-depth understanding of social issues. There are many things when a researcher is seeking some kind of quality in the research. And if it is more likely on the social issues, then it is expected from the researcher to have some qualitative findings also. So in that case, group discussion, focus group discussion is very important and useful technique. This method actually aims to obtain data from a purposely selected group of individuals rather than from a statistically representative sample of a broader population. So first thing is clear in that here in this type of method of research data collection, when the researcher is investigating on a particular social issue, then it is actually expected from the researcher to purposely select a group. So purposive sampling will be done of the limited group of people, then only they will be doing the focus group discussion. So even though the application of this method in conservation research has been extensive, so there are no critical assessment of the application of this technique because it is somehow very useful technique. So it is expected from the researcher to draw the conclusions in an effective manner. So in addition, there are no readily available guidelines for the conservation of the researchers. Now, let us discuss about the areas of focus. What we are going to study here. So areas of focus, how we are going to study in this lecture today. That are my learning objectives as well. So outline type of focus group discussions, how it is done, how it is framed, and how it is organized, and why use FGD, focus group discussions, why it is important, what's its significance in that particular research type. So then next we are going to see about how focus group discussions are administered. So this is very important to understand the administration of any research method that you are going to apply on your sample. Then after that, how you are going to analyze the data, that's also very important to understand. Then advantages and disadvantages of focus group discussion, and then types of focus group discussion, how the organizer is doing that. So now focus group discussion, these are a form of qualitative research. So understand this thing first of all, that this is actually the form of qualitative research where you are actually seeking the quality in some virtues, in some traits, in some aspects. So in which a group of participant is working and they are asked about their perceptions, their ideas, their beliefs, opinions about certain aspects. When we are involving some individuals for the group discussion or the focus group discussion, then it is supposed from all the participants to express their perceptions. What do they think about a particular aspect, or their ideas, belief, or maybe their opinion about certain aspects of your study. So this is done in an interactive group setting. So just imagine the group setting where everybody is discussing very nicely or in an healthy way to come on to the conclusion on a particular topic. Now, why FGTs? So this is a basic question: why focus group discussions? Why we are studying it? So according to Gibbs, 1997, the FGDs draw upon respondents' attitudes, feelings, beliefs, experiences, and reactions in a way in which would not be feasible using other methods like observation, questionnaire, or experimental, any other method which we assume. So, this is very important that if we want to know about the attitudes of the respondents, then we have to put them in some situation and we have to put them in some group discussion type of method where we are knowing about their real ideas about something. So, these attitude, feelings, and beliefs are more likely to be revealed via the social gathering. We present ourselves best when we are in social gathering. So, and the interaction which being in a focus group entails. So, compared to individual interviews which aim to obtain individual attitudes, beliefs, and feelings, focus group bring out a multiplicity of views and emotional processes within a group context. So, whatever the social issues are being discussed, it is not like that, students, that everybody is having the same concept, same attitude towards the problem. So, many of the views are accumulated at one place, one platform, and everybody is given chance to discuss upon that. And this is how the researcher is actually getting the data from a group discussion. So, focus group are particularly used when there are power differences between the participants and the decision makers or the professionals. So it is important for you all to know when you have selected a topic like this where there is a power difference between the participants who are actually focusing on the group discussion and decision makers of particular society or institution or any social issues or professionals. So when the everyday use of language and culture of a particular group of is interest is different from each other, by that time also focus group discussion is used. And when one wants to explore the degree of consensus on a given topic, how it is used and how it is actually going to be done in a particular way. So it is used at that time also. Now, students, let's understand about types of FGDs, focus group discussions. So first of all, let me introduce with the three types that are exploratory and then clinical type and then third is phenomenological type. Exploratory, as its name suggests, that it is exploring something. So these serve as a means of generating hypothesis. So when we are actually exploring something, so we have already set a hypothesis of a particular research problem. And that research problem is leading to some tentative solutions also, which are called hypotheses. And by focus group discussion method, when we are actually forcing some individuals or when we are organizing a type of group discussion within some individuals, then the researcher is exploring something or searching something to solve those tentative hypotheses or tentative solution of the research problem. So this is called exploratory type, that you are finding out something out of that. Then clinical. Secondly, the type of clinical, it is very important also from the medical point of view. So it provides insight into participants' unconscious motivations. Sometimes it happens that when we are dealing with a social issue or any particular issue related to less motivation or not doing work properly, so it is somehow we are working upon an unconscious manner, and the group discussion is done in that way that focuses more on giving remedies to the motivation level. So it is giving insight to the participants in an indirect manner. All right, students. Next, third type is about phenomenological. It is actually giving researcher an access to participants' common sense, conceptions, and everyday explanations. Sometimes what we assume might get fail. What we hypothesize might not get correct. So, in that case, it is quite possible that when we are putting up a particular sample of group of people in a situation where they are discussing something, so everyday explanations are becoming more easy to find out or more easy to observe. So, in that situation, the researcher is collecting true data. All right, students. So this is about phenomenological, that what is perceived by the researcher. How do they do? How do they discuss on a particular topic? Okay. So exploratory, clinical, and phenomenological are the types of group discussions. Now let's understand designing focus group interviews. So, how it is done, and first of all, before that, characteristics of a focus group. So, understand it very carefully in 4 points. So, first of all, participants are carefully recruited, 6 to 10 people in each group. It means that the researcher is organizing 2 or 3 or more, whatever the groups are required for proper research data collection. The participant is actually made according to that. So the researcher is organizing all the groups and they are recruited very minutely, very carefully, because it is the responsibility of the researcher to collect the proper data. So when appropriate individuals are included in focus group interviews, then only its target will be achieved. And just remember, only 6 to 10 people in one group are included. All right, students. So next is to take care. The interviews are conducted in a comfortable circle sitting with a provision for recording. Recording is done for the purpose that if anything or any point is missing out during the conversation, the researcher can view it later on also for proper analysis. So it should be done in a very comfortable, the respondents or the participants must not be uncomfortable, or they should given up a proper setting by the researcher so that they are more and more free, comfortable to express their perceptions, ideas on a certain aspect. Sitting must be in a circle form and they must face each other when they are ready for the FGT. Then point number 3, the moderators should be skilled in group discussions. Moderator must be experienced students using predetermined questions and able to establish a permissive environment. So moderator should be kind of a person, or maybe the researcher himself, that he or she should ask such type of predetermined question that is actually giving boost up to a healthy focus group discussion. And it is actually done in a permissive environment, not in an aggressive environment. So when everybody is expressing the opinions, thoughts, ideas, or perception or views about any certain aspect, then it is really done in a comfortable manner. So it is the task of moderator also. Now, number 4 point, which is very important characteristics of focus group discussion, that the analysis should be done systematically with verifiable procedures and reporting done appropriately. As in the previous point, I have told you that there should be a provision for recording also. So after verifying all the points, what the participants have said and what the participants have expressed during the discussion time, the analysis would be done on the basis of that only. All right, students. Now, designing focus group interviews, and in this, let's study about moderator skills. How should be the moderator? Moderator is the person who is actually giving boost up to the focus group discussions, and he is the one or she is the one who is starting the discussion and who is actually bringing them all the participants together at one platform, and he is also taking care of important things while the discussion is being done. So there are few 5 points which you have to keep it in your mind while you are discussing or while you are thinking about moderator skills. So first of all, the moderator should exercise mild control with adequate knowledge of the topic and a liking to the participants. Yes, students, it is very important that the moderator should not lose the temper. He should be of this type that he should have control on himself first and then participants also. And in a very manipulative manner, in a very good manner, and the moderator must have adequate knowledge also about the topic that is being discussed by the participants. And what do the participants like and dislike about the topic? The moderator must get the idea, because sometimes it happens if the moderator is knowing about the particular topics liking or disliking of the participants, then it becomes little easy to handle the situation when sometimes there is a hot discussion on a particular topic. So it should be of a mild control nature. Then, secondly, use an assistant to handle the logistics. Take careful notes and monitor the recording equipment. So, for these purpose, the moderator should not do himself. That he must have an assistant to do all the logistic work, which are very important for the focus group discussions, like sitting arrangement and handling all the recording equipments and whatever the notes being taken in care. So, all these things are very important for the researcher. So, next thing, be mentally prepared and alert and free from distractions with the discipline of listening and familiar with questioning. Yes, of course, students. It is one of the most important skill of any moderator that he must be a very good listener. Until unless the moderator is not listening properly to the all participants, how would he be achieving to a particular decision or the conclusion at the end of the group discussion? So he should be mentally prepared for that I have to listen properly to all the participants, and it should be alert also, because if he is not alert, then maybe sometimes in the group discussion the focus may get distracted, and his own focus must not also be distracted. So the whole focus must be shifted to that particular aspect what the group focus group discussion is being done. So there should be a discipline focus group. All right, student. Now, nextly, the moderator should create a warm and friendly environment. It should not be in a very tyranny type of thing, or that very like dominating type of thing. So it should be done in a friendly environment, because if you give respect to your participants, they will ensure a very good discussion among them. Make it sure they are seated comfortably and they have no issues with them. The next is introduction should be smooth and warm. Welcoming participant is very important by the moderator, and introducing them with each other is very important. So giving an overview of the topic and establishing expectations and ground rules before beginning with the process is very much important task by the moderator. So I hope you have understood this much. Let's proceed further. Now, designing focus group interviews, how they are done. So, first of all, it should be Focus group should be able to use pauses and probes. And moderator skill, when we are using, it should be able to record using recorders and through writing also. It should not be like that the candidates or the moderator are just speaking and there is no interest in listening, and there is a lot of distractions also. So when you are using recorders and you are using writings also, nowadays audio visual recording is very easy through cameras and all that. So control reaction to the participants using both verbal and non-verbal communication is also required in between. So it is very important when you do it. Now, moderator should use control of the group identity. Identify and manage the experts, dominant talkers, encourage the shy participants, and manage the ramblers. Ramblers are the persons who are actually creating some disturbance while there is a group discussion. So that case must also be handled very amicably by the moderator. So use appropriate conclusions, summarize with confirmation, review the purpose and task, and ask if any has been missed. And at the end, thank all the participants, then dismiss with some conclusion. So again, I repeat that moderator should use pauses and probes also. When there are no proper answers, he must probe on something. Then should be able to record, use recorders through writing or recording through technological way. Controlled reaction should be there, and verbal and non-verbal communication should happen in the focus group discussion. There should be a control on the group and identify and manage the experts, that though there are some participants who are expert of the a particular aspect, identify them and identify dominant talkers also. Actually they do not talk something fruitful sometimes, but they dominate the whole process. And encourage the shy participants also. There are some people, some participants who are actually feeling shy to talk to each other. So by that time, moderator's role is very important, and he should manage the disturbing elements also. Although the recruitment of the individuals is done very minutely, so these chances are less when ramblers are here. But you cannot assume human behavior beforehand. So let's understand this in that way. So appropriate conclusion should be there. Now, focus group questions. Now, what should be done and what questions should be asked and what should be avoided? As I've told you about the types of different questions, so it would be very easy for you to understand all these things. So firstly, students, avoid dichotomous questions. These will give you true or false, yes or no answers. And here what we want some discussion. If you are saying, are you happy? So this is type of question that generally participant will reply in yes or no. But you will not be able to get the clear idea why the participant is not happy or why the participant is happy. So the question should be framed in that way that it comes to an explanation process or thought-provoking process. That why are you happy? What makes you happy? What makes you unhappy? So these are some type of questions that must be framed, or dichotomous questions must be avoided. Now, avoid using why as much as possible. Should ask for attributes only. Why are you thinking like that? No, this is not the way. All the time you cannot ask. Once in a while or few times it is okay, but all the time we cannot be of this attitude that all the time we are asking participants why. So it will be little uncomfortable to the participants also. Use think back questions. It means thought provoking questions. They are very important. You must not neglect the importance of thought-provoking questions. So moderator must ask those questions in which thought-provoking is done by him, and all the participants in the group are encouraged to do a wonderful discussion upon that focused point. So use different types of questions, maybe at the opening, maybe at the introductory level, maybe at the transition level when one topic is shifting from another topic, or key and ending questions. So there are various places at the time of FGD when the moderator is asking the questions and he is developing that group discussion into a wonderful exploration of finding. So use questions that get the participants involved, reflective, examples, choices, rating scales, etc. So questions are involved in such a way that is asking for the examples. It is actually making the process of group discussion a very comfortable and smoother for everyone when we are giving ratings or picking choices or giving different examples of anything. So use that question. If you're asking, give some examples of fruitful discussions. So this is how the process is done in questioning process of FGD. Now focus the question, move from general to specific questions. Yes, it is the teaching principle also, and we always encourage our prospective teachers and researchers also to always move from general to specific. Specific is the situation where you want to be actually directly concentrated or be attentive towards that target area only. But generally, what people think that must also be applied first, and what then specific. All right. Then be cautious of unexpected questions. They should come last. Yes, there are some questions which come actually unexpectedly. So be cautious of them also. They should come at last. Now, let's study about note taking. What is note taking? Students, I have told you in a very elaborative manner in my previous lecture what is note taking, and it is the responsibility of assistant of the moderator, and we call assistant moderator. Note taking is very important when the group discussion is being going on, and by that time some important exploration is being done, or maybe at the clinical or phenomenological type of discussion is going on. So the note taking should be consistent and clear. Clarity should be key since the notes may be looked at after all the research is done, which maybe after a week or so. It is important to ensure clarity, and for that purpose we can record also when we are preparing a report and we are taking a notes. So just take care of all the important things that we have to do while preparing the notes. So the field notes should contain different types of information, quotations for further clarity, or expressing something that is not actually known to students. So students, we are actually talking about that note taking is very important. So capture key points and themes for each questions. Note follow-up questions for future clarity. Big ideas or thoughts of the recorder should also be recorded and discussed later. Take note of other factors like the non-verbal activity, body language, how do the participants are reacting. These minute details must also be taken in care. That may help further understand the atmosphere in the group and give clues to level of agreement also. Now students, after studying how it should be designed, now let's study about types of focus group discussion. So let's understand the focus groups discussions type, what they are. So first of all, single focus group. Now, single focus group is the type where the key feature of a single focus group is the interactive discussion of a topic by a collection of all participants and a team of facilitators as one group in one place. So this is most common and classical type of focus group discussion, which is called single group focus group discussion. And it has been widely used by both researchers and practitioners across different disciplines. Next is about two-way focus group. As its name suggests, this format involves using two groups. In single focus group, there was a single group and who was interactive and making the discussions on a particular topic, and by collecting of all the participants, team of facilitators, they are making the discussion and the conclusion is drawn on basis of them. But in two group way focus group, there are two groups where one group actively discusses a topic whereas the other observes the first group. All right, just understand it in that way. First, there are two groups. One group is actively discussing and second group is actually passively observing the first group. So usually this type of focus group is conducted behind a one-way glass. All right, students, so there is a one-way glass also, which is actually done here. So the observing group and the moderator can observe what's going on and note the interactions and discussion points of the first groups without being seen. They are not the first group who is actively discussing on a certain aspect of any issue. They are not actually seen by the another group. Okay, so there is a glass way also. One way glass is where there we can see the other aspect, but the person is not able that we are seeing him. So hearing what the other group thinks or by observing their interactions often leads the second group to different conclusions than those it may have reached otherwise. So this is fantastic idea of FGD, two-way focus group discussion, and very interesting also. Third type of focus group discussion is dual moderator focus group. So it involves students two moderators. Dual moderator, as its name suggests, there is not a single moderator, there are two moderators. Okay, and they are working together and they both of them performing together. And a different role is given to them within the same focus group. The division of role ensures a smooth progression of the session and ensures that all topics are covered very minutely. Okay, students, so dual moderator focus group having two moderators. Now, fourth type of focus group discussion is dueling moderator focus group. It involves students two moderators who purposefully take opposing sides on an issue or topic under investigation. Proponents believe that the introduction of contrary views to the discussion by the moderators is critical to achieving more in-depth disclosure of data and information. So dueling type of moderator is something which is different from dual moderator focus group. Okay, students, they are working on same focus group, but there are opposite and sides of one thing, and they are actually intentionally choosing another side. Then next, responding moderator focus group is another type of focus group discussion. And in this type of focus group discussion, researchers recruit some of the participants to take up a temporary role of moderators, having one of the participants lead to the discussion is thought to impact on the dynamics of chances and chances, as well as by grouping the influence of participants' answers, thereby increasing the chances of varied and more honest responses. So this is basically depends on the respondent's moderator focus group. Now, sixth type is mini focus group. Researchers are usually faced with a situation where there is a small potential pool of participants and we do not have so much with us and are difficult to reach that particular potential pool of participants, yet the research design requires that the topic must be discussed in a group. Only then proper data collection will be there. Under these circumstances, researcher can only convene a small group of between 2 or 5 participants. So such group are usually made up of individuals with high level of expertise also. So mini focus group is equally very important, but it just remember that it is made up of experienced people and they are learned people where they are discussing on a situation where it is required to solve some research problems. All right. Then seventh point is related to the type of online focus groups. Now, what is online focus group? Let's understand it. Online focus groups are not a different type of focus group discussion, but but one born out of the introduction of the internet as an adaptation of traditional methods. So it is applied within the online environment also using conference calling, chat rooms, or other online means. So, students, online focus group boost an aura of dynamism, modernity, competitiveness that transcends classic problems with face-to-face focus group discussion. But however, these discussions platform are only accessible to the participants with access to the internet and who are more techno savvy also and are prone to technical problems. And this is away from those participants who are expert in their field, but they are not so much techno savvy. So these were the types of group we have studied about focus group discussion. I hope you remember it. Now, how the systematic analysis is done, let's have a look upon it. First of all, start while in the group. May ask for further clarity of anything that may be hard to understand while analyzing. Probe for further understanding, ask to clarify vague comments, offer summary key questions, and seek for confirmation. Then secondly, immediately after the focus group discussion, draw picture of sitting arrangement. Check the tape recording apparatus if they have done the recording properly or not to ensure operation just in that case. Conduct moderator and assistant debriefing. Label and file field notes, drawing, etc. is also necessary. Then, soon after the focus group discussion, analyze the individual discussion also. Make backup copies of the recordings and enter into computer. An analyst should listen to tape very carefully, review field notes, prepare report on questions by questions format. Okay, students. Then later make an analysis of all the focus group discussions and compare the findings also. So look for emerging themes per question, describe findings using quotes to illustrate. And finally, now the time is to prepare the report and you can use various reporting styles such as narrative and can use illustrations also for clarity, sequence, questions by questions, share with others for review purpose also so that you can come to the conclusion. This is the systematic way of analysis of focus group discussion. Now, what are the advantages of this FGT? So, let's have a look upon them in a very brief way. So, they first of all produce information which would not be accessible in a different settings. All right, students. So, group members discover a different way by which to express themselves. Definitely, when they have been given a chance to do more better in some other platform, they do express themselves in a very fine way. They give an opportunity for disclosure among similar others also. So, what is the similarity of thoughts, perception in the participants? It is also leading towards that, as well as what are the dissimilarities? It is leading towards that also in a clear format. Then they give us access to certain kinds of qualitative phenomena that are poorly studied with other methods. As I have told you, this is the fantastic method, and no critics have been actually criticizing this method, because it is actually availing a very good sort of data which is coming directly from a natural setting of discussion. So, FGDs offer a chance to observe participants engaging in interaction that is concentrated and attitude and experiences that are of interest to the researcher. So, one is able to capture phenomena that are almost entirely limited to interactions like comparisons. Then it can also remove activities that do not exist at individual level, like resolution of incompatibilities, because it is giving chances to everyone. Then it is empowering the participants who participate in the research work and know they are part of the decision making progress, and it is giving a wonderful feeling to the participants when they are joining a discussion part. So participation become more confident in that case. It captures real life information in a social environment. It has high face validity also, students. So it frequently brings out an anticipated aspects of the topic. Then focus group can be relatively low cost and provide quick results also. This is very good advantage of it. The actual time and cost for planning, conducting, and analyzing data may be relatively small when compared to alternatives such as survey projects and individual interviews. Focus groups are a flexible assessment tool. Interactions between the moderator and participants allow the moderator to probe issues in depth, address new issues as they arise, and to ask participants to elaborate on their responses. So, participants may be more comfortable talking in a group than in an individual interview. Interactions can generate more discussions and therefore more informations. So the data is in the respondent's own word system later on, and it is easily understood and will provide insights into how respondents think about the topic and how they perceive about a certain aspect. All right, students. Now we have seen the advantages in detail. Now let's have a look on the disadvantages also, because we have to see some disadvantages also, only then we are coming up to the right understanding of FGD, focused group discussion. Now, first of all, the participant might withhold some of the responses, hence getting just part of the information. We are not sure if the participant is fully expressing himself or herself or not. So there are some chances that the person is withholding some of the responses with him only. Next, the participants may at times tell the researcher that they think he or she wants to hear. Then unnatural environment is created, because you have to be in strict discipline also, so in which they are conducted, and the researchers lack of control over the course of discussion at times may also occur. So the focus groups are constructed by individuals who also have limitations and inclination, meaning that even the observations will be affected by the same limitations. Then maybe the shy members of FGD might feel intimidated. So this is also one of the disadvantage. The FGT is open-ended and cannot be predetermined. So what situation will be created, we are not sure, because we are dealing with the human beings and human behaviors. So this is one of the advantages, that we cannot be predetermined with the situations. The researcher has less control than individual interviews. Data is difficult to analyze. Moderators interviews require special skills. Differences within groups can be troublesome sometimes, and discussions must be conducted in a conducive environment also. So it is very difficult how to the researcher is going to analyze the data afterwards, although the systematic steps were given, but sometimes it becomes very difficult to interpret the conversation into analysis. Now this is one of the case that I'm going to share with you all, that Uganda microfinance institution had a range of loan products on the market. At first the institution did very well and had big clientele. However, as more microfinance institutions joined the market offering the same products, competition became stiff. In order to up their game, they decided to conduct a market research to enable them to improve on their products. All right. And to do this, they partnered with MicroSave, a consultancy firm which guided the process of the market research. At the beginning of the process, the consultancy set with the staff of the microfinance institution to look at the different products and their characteristics. So this was a type that focus group discussion was made. They came up with different product prototypes. After this, they went out to the communities to test the marketability of the different prototypes. So this is how they solved their problem. This is another case. To be able to gather information, micro save decided to use focus group discussions. This is the same that in continuation. The staff of VF Uganda mobilized groups of about 12 people in the areas where they were already operating. And during FGDs, they tested out the different prototypes and were able to get opinions about the different products and their packaging also. During that process, the microsave experts worked with the VF Uganda staff who assisted with the moderation of the different discussions. From the analysis of the information gathered, they improved on the prototypes which they put out on the market for pilot testing. For 2 consecutive loan cycles during the pilot testing period, more information was gathered now. So, after which final products were designed and put out on the market. So, when the products were launched, there was a huge response from a market which pushed VF Uganda to the next level. So, this is how FGD worked very brilliantly for VF Uganda company, and they've done better in their marketing and their selling of the products. So students, these are some references for your purposes for more study, and I hope you will enjoy reading them and just studying them. So this was all about today's class, and I hope you have understood well, and you will enjoy reading that more about it. So students, see you in the next class. Till then, take care, stay safe and stay healthy.